Hey guys, it's Dr. Lisa. Welcome to my daily updates here from Tampa, Florida as an internal medicine doc on the front lines treating and preventing disease. We are a nice blend of integrative and traditional medicine and handling complaints of patients thinking they may have contracted COVID-19 and trying to maintain some level of normalcy because my patients still have diabetes and high blood pressure and hormones that need to be controlled. So we are trying to control those things to keep people's immune systems supported so that they don't come down with COVID-19, and if they do, that it will be a lot less severe. So in these daily updates, if you have not joined me before, I kind of go over a little bit of science at the beginning and then a practical tip, and I like to end with an affirmation. I do believe strongly in the mind-body connection, and especially when there's a lot of unknowns, as we're seeing in this current epidemic, staying in a place of positivity and connectedness and being present has never been more needed. And that leads into actually the interesting science that I was studying yesterday, which is some people call the 3 I's. So it turns out that your immune system is closely tied to inflammation, and a lot of you may have heard that. But the third I that I had heard about, but I didn't really understand the science behind, is impulsivity. So what happens that they've found now in a multitude of studies is that when you are inflamed, when you have an immune system that may be compromised, it impacts directly the center of the brain that you operate out of most prominently. So the fight or flight center that is more just, win at all costs, protect at all costs, which is the amygdala is what it's called, is what kind of takes over when we are in this place of inflammation and when we have an immune system that's not happy. So I always knew from stress that you would go into that type of pattern of thinking in the brain, but the data is now showing that just inflammation, the act of having inflammatory proteins in your body, can make you more prone to impulsivity. So what does that mean? It means that daily decisions about your future will be coming from that part of the brain that is not able to process fully. So we want to be coming from our prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain where we can think out options and be rational. And to go into that place where we're most effective, we have to be calm, centered, but we also have to work on the levels of inflammation and on the status of our immune system. So I wanted to share that. I thought it was interesting information. And it does plug into the concept of something called the NRF2 pathway. So this NRF2 pathway is a pathway that is anti-inflammatory when it's activated. So it's a pathway we all have in our bodies that when it's turned on, it produces anti-inflammatory proteins and things that can help with oxidative stress or with stress in general. So we want as much of this NRF2 or NRF2 activated as we possibly can. And the good news is there are some easy ways to activate it. So the one that came up the most yesterday in a conversation that I was having and watching was that of just cruciferous vegetables, which are things like broccoli, cauliflower, sprouts. And what's super interesting is that if you guys go to the grocery store, which I am sure most of us are, even though we're doing it in a different way than we used to before, armed with wipes or gloves and, trying to not have any at-risk people going in. I found it pretty fascinating, actually, over the course of this pandemic so far. When we first went in, there was so much uncertainty, and we thought we've got to grab, foods that will last, like canned tuna and things most of us don't eat. At least most of my patients are health conscious people, are not eating a ton of pasta and soups and cans and that type of thing. But we had this fear-based thought pattern that was running us and our amygdala to grab these foods because we didn't know what was going to happen. thank God, as this pandemic has gone on, it seems it's sort of like the opposite at this point. So if you've noticed, which was kind of shocking to me, I went into the store and the produce and vegetables were full and the canned stuff was not. So the processed stuff is what people are still kind of making a run on. And I don't know, I think that's still partially fear-based, but also partially just people eat junk still in this country. So this is a perfect opportunity. You're in your homes, most of us, most of you, I am not, but most of you are. So if you have the opportunity to try new things, to actually cook where you haven't before, those cruciferous vegetables that are going to increase your NRF2 pathway are there. So go grab them, try some new recipes. You can even chew on some broccoli sprouts, which increases that pathway even more significantly. I prefer the other, which is some good organic coffee, or EGCG, which comes in tea. Those also activate the pathway, along with a lot of other things that are some of my favorites, like intermittent fasting, ketogenic diet, which we can talk about in another video. So that was kind of my main tip for today, and I think that more and more studies are coming out on different drug therapies, on the persistent success of IV vitamin C in handling COVID-19. I do think the social distancing is helping. I know here in Tampa, people really do seem to be behaving at this point. So I'm appreciative to that as well. And we will stay here in the trenches, connecting to you daily, serving our patients, providing some insight and calm in this uncertainty. So wanted to leave you with an affirmation. One that can help you stay in your prefrontal cortex, which is your calm processing, awesome brain, versus your amygdala. So I am safe, secure, and nourished. I am safe, secure, and nourished in all ways. Okay, so say that again with me. I am safe, secure, and nourished in all ways. Go to the store or send somebody and grab the stuff that's fresh. Try it, mix it up a bit, hide the spinach in your kid's smoothie. Sometimes that works for my kid. Wash your hands, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.